All right, so this is part 2 of my journey series. And so my junior year of high school, we get through that whole year, me and Costa, and then we go back to school. It's our senior year of high school, and so we go through the whole school year. Spring comes around, it's landscaping season, but I'm playing baseball, I have school, and then I have a little bit of time for work. And so it really kicked off once I graduated high school. One of the best days of my life. I felt like I finally had freedom. I work a little bit on the landscaping business throughout the summer. And then I end up getting a job at a warehouse. And I remember thinking to myself, I just don't want to do this. I didn't like the environment. I didn't like how it felt suffocating almost. And so I decided I wanted to quit. So I quit the job, and a good friend of mine was supposed to have this event in Sedona, Arizona, and I wanted to go support him. So I drove all the way over, which I believe is 33 hours to Sedona, Arizona from Pittsburgh. And I've never done a road trip ever, and this is completely by myself. And so this was an amazing experience. I was out there for about 2 weeks driving. I was in Sedona for like 3 or 4 days and then drove back, but I took my time and I got to see the Grand Canyon. That was really cool. And so on my way back from Sedona, I remember I was in the Grand Canyon. I was driving towards home and I get another call, and it's from a friend, and he's like, dude, do you want to work at a ski resort out west? And immediately I was like, yes. This was my first real taste of being out west, and it was amazing. I loved the people, I loved the scenery, I loved the fresh air. The air is different. And this was September when I was in Sedona in the Grand Canyon. And in November, I left for Breckenridge, Colorado. My dad and I road tripped out there. The friend ended up not coming, but I did, and I went out there for 6 months, completely changed the trajectory of my life. I got to experience different cultures. I lived with people from all over the world, Peru, Argentina, Chile, and lived with people from all over the country, met some amazing people, and I had some of the most fun times of my life, skiing every day, working on the mountain. I skied every day for 6 months. I mean, it was incredible. I got back in April, and then I did landscaping for 3 months. And I was like, I need to get back out there. So I road tripped with a good friend of mine, and that pattern continued next year. And I go to Lake Tahoe with 3 of my friends, and this winter was legendary. It will go down in the history books. It was the second snowiest year in California history. We had 726 inches of snow, and it was unbelievable. Some of the powder days we had were mind-blowing. It was absolutely incredible. And we went to San Francisco. There's a Larkin Street in San Francisco, which is kind of awesome. Then I came home, came back in April, worked for a few months, and then I went on a 3-month road trip where I lived in Yosemite for 10 days, stayed with my cousin in Oregon for a month, traveled up and down the entire West Coast, saw Mount Rainier, saw the Redwoods, saw the Oregon coast, the California coast, the Washington coast. Just up and down the West, and it was incredible. Completely changed my life. And then I came home, and this is where the lighting story begins.